Sean Diddy Combs is waiting to find out if he will walk free after being cleared of the most serious charges in his federal trial. The New York jury deliberated for a little over 2 days and came to a unanimous verdict, finding Combs not guilty of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking, the most serious charges. But the jury found the rapper guilty on the lesser charges, transportation to engage in prostitution. The trial lasted just over 7 weeks and included testimony from 34 witnesses. Federal prosecutors argued the 55-year-old rapper and producer was the leader of what they call a criminal enterprise that forced women into engaging in abusive sex acts with male prostitutes. The defense accused the prosecution of being overzealous and exaggerating details about Combs' life, saying this case is about personal drug use and his swinger lifestyle. CBS News national correspondent Jericka Duncan has been following this trial and joins us now from outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Jericka, this story is developing as we speak. Catch us up on where things stand now.
Yeah, this is one of the cases I've followed that is so different when you start with yesterday and having a verdict on 4 of the 5 counts, and today we learn about the 3 counts that Combs was found not guilty on. 2 he was, as you mentioned in that intro. And now there's this 3rd issue where we're not sure whether or not he is going to be released. And there is a hearing happening right now. I just got the letters that were submitted to the court from the defense and the prosecution arguing why they want him to stay. So right now what's happening is the cars for the family just pulled up, and that's typical when they're about to come outside. I see an SUV, and behind that car 2 Sprinter vehicles, which the Combs family has been traveling in. So it's an indication that they're on their way out. As to whether or not they're going to give a statement, it's still unclear, because we were told early on in talking to some people who are connected to the family that there would be someone speaking on the day that the verdict was revealed. So as again, just to reset, we got 2 letters that I have not read through yet, but one is from the defense, one is from the prosecution, and it appears there might be another update on a hearing at 5 p.m., but I'm working to find out the details of that, and I will bring them to you as soon as we get them. Meg?
And Jericka, have we heard from any of Combs' accusers any reaction to today's verdict?
Yes, we have. Doug Wigdor, who represents Cassie Ventura, represented her in the civil case. He said he spoke to Cassie and that she said that she was okay and that she was pleased with the results and the fact that Combs was charged with 2 federal crimes. So when you listen, though, to Doug Wigdor in an interview that he gave our affiliate WCBS, he sounds not like his regular self. I've known Doug for many years now, and I think without a doubt he was expecting a stronger outcome in reference to that sex trafficking for his client, Cassie Ventura. But he said that Cassie Ventura said that she was, quote, pleased that Combs was convicted of 2 federal crimes.
All right, Jericka Duncan covering it all for us. Thank you so much. We want to turn now to CBS News legal contributor and Loyola Law School professor Jessica Levinson. Jessica, thanks for being here. Jurors were hung up, as you know, on that racketeering conspiracy charge against Combs. Why is that the most difficult to prove?
Well, it's a complex charge, and most people, when they might hear RICO or racketeering, they immediately think of organized crime. Obviously, that's not the only situation where you can use a RICO charge, but it does require showing that Sean Combs was head of this criminal enterprise and that it requires the prosecution essentially to connect a lot of different dots. It's not like, for instance, proving simple assault. In this case, I think that obviously the jury went count by count, piece by piece. They were able to find that there was, in fact, a violation of federal law when it came to the prostitution claims here, the moving across state lines for prostitution, but not those more complex claims, because I think the jury, maybe while they were convinced that there were things that were immoral or unethical or deeply distasteful happen, they didn't see it as rising to the level of a criminal enterprise that's required for that RICO charge.
Jessica, let's talk about the 2 counts that Combs was convicted of. How much time could he spend behind bars?
So he could theoretically, I understand, serve up to 20 years, 10 for each count. I don't think that's what we're going to see, in part because he's a first time offender, in part because you rarely do get the maximum amount. Let's also remember that he has been detained pre-trial for a number of years now. The prosecution has said, we're going to ask for a lot of time here. The defense has said they're going to ask for no time. I think it's entirely possible that we could see a few months, for instance, in prison. I hate making definitive predictions because it is within the judge's discretion, but I'd be very surprised if we see a sentence of double-digit years in prison.
We'll have to wait for that 5 o'clock bail hearing for that. But in the meantime, after the verdict was read, the defense asked for Combs to be released on bail until sentencing. We know now that we are waiting for this 5 o'clock bail hearing, and I know you don't have a crystal ball and it's hard to predict, but there is a chance he could walk free today, right?
There is a chance, and I appreciate you saying it is difficult. Of course, nobody has a crystal ball, but what do we have? We have some tea leaves, and the judge has left some of them for us in the sense of he's saying, okay, give me an argument about why he should or shouldn't be freed today. In my experience, federal judges don't say, go ahead and make an argument or make a case if they aren't open to at least the possibility. So is it probable? I'm not sure. Is it absolutely possible? Yes, it is. And you're exactly right to separate out. There's the bail hearing, whether or not he will be free pending sentencing, and then separately the sentencing that we're going to look at.
All right, we still just have to wait a few more hours to see what comes down with that. Jericka Levinson, we always appreciate your perspective. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our coverage of the trial continues tonight with a 1-hour special, Sean Diddy Combs, The Verdict. You can watch that right here on CBS News 24/7, starting at 9 Eastern. It will replay at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific time.